faculty at the Department of Naval Architecture and Offshore Engineering. So today I will be going to talk about floating body and stability. So the content of the talk is we will be talking about what is a floating body and the importance of stability. We will be talking about equilibrium, then the rigid body motions. What are the different rigid body motions for the floating body? Then we come to the main stability portions. It talks about the flotation, ship stability, and what are the factors that influence the stability of a ship. So, starting with the floating body and stability, let's talk about what is floating body. So, here I am going to talk about bodies which are floating in the water. So, floating body and its types. So, there are two major categories. The marine structures which are floating, either they are ships or they are offshore structures. And these two major structures are used for multiple purposes. Ships are used for the transportations, they are also used for the oil and gas productions. Offshore structures are mainly used for the oil and gas productions. Now they are also used for the energy, renewable energy storage and generation. So harnessing the energy from the ocean currents, waves and the winds. So based on the functions, they have different designs. The design varies in dimensions. The design varies as the water depth is concerned. So this is all about the floating bodies. So ships is something looks like this, where the front part we call as bow, the right part we call as stern, this is called mid part. Offshore structures, in particular the floating offshore structures, they have different configurations. The top part is called deck, the bottom part is called pontoon, which basically is floats, and in between there are columns, and they are supported to the seabed by the mooring lines. So these structures are basically floating inside the water, and they experience multiple loads for the forces acting on them. So it is very important to study what is the stability of those structures under those loading conditions. So if I take the ships in particular, let's see what different types of environmental loads will be acting on the ships and what happens under those loading conditions. So starting with the waves. Waves can come from any directions. There are multi-directions waves. It can hit the structure from the front, from the back, from the sides, and secondly, the wind. So waves and winds. Wave, wind. Then third is called current, ocean currents. These are the three major components which basically affects the stability of a floating body. So what we are going to study is how the ship behaves and what is the ship stability. Here we are going to talk about mostly the ship stability, which is somewhat related also to the offshore structures. So as I said earlier, they are used for transportation, they are used for oil and gas storage. Offshore structures are used for the oil and gas production and the storage, also used to harness the energy from the ocean waves, currents, and the winds. So they are all basically comes under offshore structures used for renewable energies. So now let's go over to the next topic, which is called something called equilibrium. What is equilibrium? Equilibrium says that if body has to remain in one position or in equilibrium condition, so all the forces acting on the body and all the movements acting on the body. So it's all about the net forces and the net movement acting on the body should be zero. So another term we call as stable. The body has to be in stable conditions, all the forces and the movement should be zero. Here we only emphasize on the static equilibrium. We will not go to the dynamic part because that's not the scope of this topic. So what is equilibrium? There are three categories. First is called stable equilibrium. second unstable, and the third one is called neutral equilibrium. So what is the stable equilibrium, unstable equilibrium, the neutral equilibrium? Let's see. So very known example we must have seen in our physics classes. This is the slope, a surface. If I roll out a ball from the surface, the ball never comes back. It rolls out and it keeps going. Correct? The ball is all under unstable equilibrium because there is no tendency of ball to come back to its initial position. It keeps moving. So it's called unstable conditions. Secondly, the other way. If I roll out the ball from here, so what will happen? It will keep going up and down, and slowly it will come back to its initial position. This is called stable equilibrium. Because the ball is coming back to its initial position after removing all the forces acting on the ball. So that is called stable equilibrium. And the third, which is called neutral. So what happens is, let's say this flat surface, I'm rolling out a ball, applying some force, and I'm removing the force. So what will happen? Ball will go to a new position, and it will remain at that position. It will regain a different position, a location. So that is something called neutral equilibrium. Later in this content of the topic, we will see stability, ships should be stable, unstable, or neutral. We go into detail. So that is something called equilibrium. Equilibrium means the net forces and the moments acting on the body should be zero. Now coming back to something called rigid body motions. So what do you understand by the rigid body? A body which does not deform, a body does not deflect is called rigid body. They only get displaced. Displaced means they move from one location to the other location, either along the length, along the height, or along the transverse dimensions. So rigid body so they don't deform, no deformation. They do not deflect, so deflection is zero. But they have displacement. So they move from one location to another. It can be translation, it can be rotation. So we'll see. There are three rigid body motions are categorized in two parts. The first one is called translational motions, and the second one is called rotational motions. So, in translational motions, let's define the axis. So, let's call along the length is x-axis, a Cartesian coordinate system. Along the height, let's call as z-axis, and normal to the cone, let's call as y-axis. So all the translational and rotational motions are along and about the x, y, and z axis respectively. So along the x, a translational motion is called surge. Similarly, about x is called as roll. We'll see in a schematic drawing how it looks like. Second, along the y, basically in this direction, is called as sway. Here, about y is this axis. So let's say the ship is rotating about y axis. So this is called as pitch. Third, it's about z. So a translation motion about z is moving like this. It's called u. And about z, it is called as yaw. So these are the 6 degree of freedoms: 3 translational motions and 3 rotational motions for a rigid body. It can be ships, it can be floating offshore structures, for example, semi-submersible, TLP, Spark. Let's see one by one what is such. A surge is the translation motion of the ship along the x-axis. It means the ship is moving or displacing along this axis, x. If body is moving in this axis, in positive x or negative x, so we call it is under surge motion. Correct? Second, let's do one thing. We'll talk about all the translation motion once, and then we'll go to rotational motion. So the translation motion next comes along the y is called sway. So it is about y-axis, correct? It is along the y-axis. So this is the body. And normal in the board is y-axis. It means up. The body will be moving or displacing along this axis. So that's called sway. And the third one is called view, which is a body motion about the z-axis. So it is basically moving in this direction. So this is your z-axis. Body will be oscillating about z, or displacing about z-axis. Right? Also, these are translation motions. Let's talk about the rotational motions. In rotational motion, the first one is roll. So here roll is about x-axis. So if I see the object of the body from side, the ships will look like this. Correct? And x-axis will be perpendicular to the board. So in that case, ship will be oscillating like this, or either way. So it's called roll motions. It's about x-axis. Second is something called pitch. Pitch is the translation motion about y-axis. So if I take profile view of the object, this is your x-axis. This is your normal is y-axis. So basically, ship is rotating about y-axis. It's called pitch. In that case, ship will be rotating like this, up and down. Correct? So this is called pitch motion. And the third one, which is called yaw. Yaw is a ship's rotational motion about z-axis. So this is your z-axis. If I look at the plan view, the ship looks like this. Depending on the ship type, this is your normal to the board. In plan view, this is your z-axis. So ship will oscillate like this. So that is called yaw motion. So we discuss about ship's rigid body motions. There are 6 motions. In that, 3 translation motions and 3 rotational motions. Surge, sway, view is basically along x, y, and z axis respectively. Roll, pitch, and yaw. It's about x, y, and z axis respectively. So 3 translation and 3 rotational motions. We'll come back to this when we talk about ship stability. We'll see in the detail whether this which is stable, unstable, or neutral. We'll have some idea about why do we need to study ship stability. Let's go to the next topic, which is something called flotation. A body cannot be said floating body if it is not floating, isn't it? What I meant to say is the concept of flotation, how the body will float. So, if I drop this, assume this is a container of, this is a wall. The water is filled till this level. This is water. And the remaining part of the container is air. If I drop an object inside the water, let's say it's a tennis ball. If I drop a tennis ball inside the water, what will happen is the ball will come out. Or it may not come out, depends on the ball configuration, the material and the design. So what will happen is, in case if the ball is coming out, it will float like this. So part of the ball is in air medium, and the part it is in water. So I can call this ball is floating, isn't it? So the condition for any object or the criteria for any object to float is the weight of the object, the total mass in air should be supported by a force which is called as buoyancy force. As we discussed in the equilibrium, it says that an object, if it's called in equilibrium, that total force acting on the body should be balanced, or it should be, the net force should be zero. So here the weight is supported by the buoyancy force. That is the condition for an object to float. It is not the condition for object to be stable. We will see later on. This is the condition for object to float. The weight of the ball should be supported by an upward force. In technical term, it is called as the buoyancy force. So there is something called flotation. If I take the example of ships, so this is the ocean surface. Let's say it's a speedboat floating at a particular water level. So here, the total weight of the speedboat, which is weight in air, should be balanced by an upward force acting on the body, on the surface of the body, which is nothing but called as a buoyancy force. So it should be supported by the buoyancy force. So that is something called the flotation. So a floating body should have this criteria to float when the weight is supported by the buoyancy force. In some cases, if I talk about the submerged body, let's say I have let's say a tennis ball which is heavy, so it is not floating, it is gone inside the water, but it is not going in the surface or till the bottom level, because at some point of time the weight is supported by the buoyancy force, but still the body is totally submerged inside the water. Correct. So it is possible, the scenario is possible, the weight is supported by the buoyancy force, but still the object is not floating because it requires exact amount of volume which can support the total weight. Right? So we'll understand about the volume and this concept when we talk about the factors affecting the stability part. So I hope this topic is clear about the flotation. The condition is the weight should be supported by the upward force, and the upward force is called as a buoyancy. So we discussed about the equilibrium, the rigid body motions, we discussed about the flotation part. Now let's go to the topic, the main topic, which is ship stability. So what is the importance of ship stability? Ships are normally used for the transportations of cargo, transportation of passengers from one port to the other port, from one location to another location. If ship is not functioning properly, it means it is rolling high, the pitching extensively, or any other factors. So what will happen is it's uncomfort for the cargo and uncomfort for the passengers as well. So understanding of stability of ships under different conditions is very important. Here we are talking about static conditions, so we will assume that ship is floating, it is not moving, it is in static conditions. So let's say the velocity of the object is 0. Now I assume that weight is supported by the buoyancy. It means ship is floating at particular water level. Now what happens is they do multiple functions. They take out the weight, they add the weight, they move inside the object, movement of the cargo, movement of the passengers. That affects the stability of the ships. So that's why it's very important to study what's the ship stability under different conditions. Two major factors which affect the ship stability is the weight and secondly is the external forces which basically come from the dynamics of floating body. Wave effect, current effect, wind effect. In static stability, we are more concerned about the weight and how it influences the ship stability. So let's come back to the 6 degree of freedoms we talked earlier, because those are the 6 motions which needs to be stable for the ships to remain stable. So we'll talk about the all 6 degree of freedoms or the 6 rigid motions. And we'll try to understand whether under the static motions the ship is going to be stable or unstable. We'll start with the surge. So what is surge motions? A translation motion of a ship along the x-axis. So what happens if the ship moves along the x-axis? Correct. Let's say I am pushing a ship to these new locations. There is no any other force which can bring back ships to its initial position. We move to the new location, it will remain there unless until we apply some external force. That's what called Newton's first law of motion. So body is in motion, it will remain in there. If it is stationary, it will remain stationary if you do not exert any external force. So this comes under neutral equilibrium because from initial position it transfers to the new position. That's why surge is called neutral equilibrium condition. After surge is along x, now along y. Along y is called sway. So what is sway motion? If I look in the plan, ship has tendency to displace along y. The ship will move like this. Correct? So what happens is, say I am applying some force, the ship has come to the new location. From here to here. There is no external force or there is no internal force which can bring ship back to its initial position. Correct? So what will happen? It will regain a new location and will remain there. That's what we also call as neutral equilibrium. Let's go to the next. Ship motion along the z axis is called heave. So, what is heave motions? The translation motion along z axis. So, what is happening here is, if I apply some force, for example, if I lift the object and then leave it, so what will happen? Ship will come back. Ship will go to a new location. And the moment it goes up, the weight is supposed to be balanced with the buoyancy force. That is not there because the weight underwater volume, we'll understand that later, underwater volume will reduce. That's what the buoyancy force will reduce. So what will happen? Ship will again fall down because this equation is not satisfied. Correct. The moment it goes to the water, the buoyancy force will increase. And at some point of time it is balanced, but it has tendency to fall down. It will keep on going down and the buoyancy force will cross the weight and it will try to push the ship back. So what will happen? It will oscillate for some period of time and slowly it will become zero. It will come back to its initial position. So because of the restoring force, inherent restoring force because of buoyancy, the ship has tendency to come back to its initial position. So it can be stable. But this particular study of ships being stable or unstable, it has no much significance. Normally, ship will remain stable in heave motions if it is a small disturbance. So we can say heave can be a stable motion. Next, translation motions along the x-axis. So one of the motion is called along about x-axis we call as roll. And in static stability term we call as heave. Correct? So what happens in the roll? Or the, sorry, it's not heave, it's called as heave. what will happen if I do some disturbance? The body will rotate till some angle. Now, based on the center of gravity of the object and the centroid upon the water volume, which is called as centroid of buoyancy, ship has tendency to come back or further go into the same direction. So that particular study, whether the ship is going back or coming into its initial position or not, that is what we are going to study in ship stability. So roll or the heel is very important because we do not know if the ship is going to be stable or unstable. If it is stable, in what inclination is going to be stable, or what inclination beyond that ship is going to be unstable. So those particular studies they are going to do. Normally that comes under ship stability, or it is also called transverse stability. Study of ship stability in transverse motion or the in transverse directions is called transverse stability, or under the heel conditions. Heel means inclination of ship in transverse plane. Now next comes under the motion or rotational motion about the y-axis. About y-axis we call as pitch. So if I look in the profile view, this is my x, this is my y-axis. So ship motion in these directions, up and down, correct? The rotational motion. So what happens is, if ship is pitching like this, so same concept as I said here, the location of center of gravity and center of buoyancy changes. And based on that location, we can say whether the ship is going to be stable or it's going to be unstable. Or it may happen that it may go into neutral conditions. That's what we are going to study ship stability for roll and the pitch. With static condition, it is called trim. So this particular study is called longitudinal stability. Study of ship stability in longitudinal direction. So we are going to study in what inclination ship is stable, or beyond that it is going to be unstable or stable or neutral. That's the importance of the study of roll and the pitch. The last rotational motion we call as yaw. So it is ship's motion about z-axis. So basically it's going to rotate like this. If for example, now ship has moved from initial position to like this, a new location. There is no inherent force or external force which will bring back to its initial position. Correct? So it's going to be there, and it's going to remain there. There is no force which can bring ships to its initial position. That's what we call as a neutral equilibrium. Fine. So we understood all ships 6 degrees of freedom in terms of ship stability: surge, sway, and yaw. Where surge, sway, and yaw, they are neutral because there is no inherent force which brings ships to its initial position. Yaw is a stable condition because we got a buoyancy, a restoring force to bring back. Roll and pitch. It is uncertain that it can become stable, it can become unstable, it can be a neutral motion. So that particular study falls under transverse stability of ships and the longitudinal stability of ships respectively. And the yaw motions. Well, I said earlier, yaw is neutral condition. So that's the importance of studying ship stability because of this particular reason. Now, what are the factors affect the ship stability? As I said earlier, center of buoyancy and center of gravity. There are two factors which governs the restoring force. Restoring force is a force which brings back ships to its initial position. So this particular location of COG and COB will tell you whether ship is going to be stable, unstable, and neutral. So, and COB and the COG, center of buoyancy and center of gravity, they are mostly influenced by the change of weight. A weight can change, or what I meant is weight can be added. So loading of cargo, weight can be removed. Unloading of cargo, weight can be displaced. Movement of the cargo, and weight can be lifted. So lifting of the cargo from on deck lift or the lift from the on the port. Fine. So these three, adding, removing, displacing, and lifting of the cargo, is basically influencing the location of COP and the COG. And that's what this is very important to study, the effect of cargo movement inside the ships, which affect the COP and COG. There are few more factors which also influence the ship stability, but these are the major factors, which is change of weight, which comes in the four categories: adding, removing, displacing, and lifting of the cargo. Fine. So these are the factors: weight, which influence the location of COP, COG, and directly which influence the ship stability. So we talked about floating body stability. We had introduced about different floating bodies. When we talk about the equilibrium part, what is equilibrium, positive, stable, unstable, and neutral. Rigid body motions, 6 degrees of freedoms, translation motions, rotational motions. Then we talk about the flotations, conditions for the flotation. We talked about all the 6 degrees of freedoms in terms of ship stability. Why do we need to study ship stability for this particular transverse and the longitudinal part? And the factors which mainly affect the ship stability, which is the weight. So that is what we understood in this lecture. So this is what for today's lecture. So the conclusion is floating body stability is mainly governed by the effect of the weight, and it has more influence on ship's transverse stability and the longitudinal stability. There is no influence of change of weight on surge, on a sway, on the yaw, and the keel. The main concern is roll or the heel, pitch or the trim. Thank you.